After our family reunion, I checked my account. It was drained. My sister-in-law smirked. We needed it more. When I reached for my bag and said, "Then you won't mind what's coming next," they had no idea what I'd set in motion. "Are you seriously mad about this?" Aiden leaned against the fridge, beer in hand, that smug half-smile glued to his face. "Relax. We needed it more than you." I blinked, my thumb hovering over the refresh button on my banking app. I'd already hit it 3 times. It still showed the same number, $487.23. That couldn't be right. Yesterday, I had over $14,000. $14,000? You what? My voice cracked a little. Lily, my sister, let out a laugh from the couch. She looked completely unbothered, legs curled under her, sipping wine like this was just another episode of Family Game Night. "Oh, don't be so dramatic," she said. "It's not like we stole it. We're family. You drained my account." "It's not draining if we're going to pay it back," Aiden added with a shrug. "Eventually." My mouth opened, but no sound came out. I looked at Mom sitting across the room with her knitting. She didn't even glance up. "Mom," I said louder, "did you know about this?" She sighed like I'd just accused her of ruining dinner. "Sweetheart, you're always so sensitive. You have a good job, no mortgage, no kids, you live alone, you're fine. So that justifies stealing from me?" "Language, Grace," Dad muttered without looking up from his phone. I turned to Lily. "How did you even get access?" "You left your info on the family computer," she said, unapologetic. "Maybe next time don't log in and walk away. Honestly, it's your own fault." My own. I stopped myself. My fingers curled into fists. My breathing had gone shallow. "You're making this a bigger deal than it needs to be," Aiden said. "It's not like we wasted it on nonsense. We paid rent, bought groceries, survived. You didn't ask." "We didn't think we had to," Lily snapped. "You've been paying for stuff for years. What's the difference if it comes through you or from you?" I picked up my bag slowly. No one moved. No one apologized. No one even looked surprised. "You're leaving already?" Mom asked. "Yep," I said, zipping my coat. "But don't worry, I'll be in touch." "Don't be like that," Lily rolled her eyes. "We needed it more than you. That's just facts." I reached for the doorknob, paused. "Then you won't mind what's coming next?" They laughed, but outside something had already started. "You always helped. That's what you're for, right? Hey, you okay?" It was my cousin Hannah catching up to me outside as I marched to my car, fist clenched and jaw locked. "No," I muttered, yanking open the door. "I heard what Lily said," she added carefully. "That wasn't right." I didn't answer because if I spoke, I'd scream. The thing is, this wasn't the first time. For years, I've been the responsible one. The one with the stable job. The one who didn't need help. So somehow, that made me the family wallet. It started small. Lily forgot to pay her phone bill once. I covered it. Then Aiden lost his job and asked to borrow a little something to get through the month. Then there was a birthday gift for their daughter I offered to pay for. Except I didn't. They just assumed I would. And every time they made it sound like I owed it to them. "You're lucky, Grace," Mom would say, her voice sweet but sharp underneath. "You don't have the struggles your sister does. God gave you ease so you could share it." "Family means supporting each other," Dad chimed in more than once. "You wouldn't be here if it weren't for us." Translation: We gave you life. Now give us your paycheck. I never asked for anything. Not when I was laid off for 6 months and lived off rice and eggs. Not when I skipped vacations for 3 straight years just to rebuild my savings. Not even when I helped pay off Lily and Aiden's credit card debt 2 years ago. They never paid me back. They never even said thank you. "You still coming to the family reunion?" Lily had asked last week. "Yeah," I replied. "Should I bring something?" Her answer came quick. "Just bring yourself and your card." I thought it was a joke. Now, I know it wasn't. 2 days after the incident, Lily called me. I didn't answer. She called again and again. Then Aiden texted, "Just call her, man. She's freaking out." I finally picked up on the 5th try. "Grace," she started, her voice low, shaky. "We have a problem." I stayed silent. She continued. "The power company came today. We're behind on the bill, like, way behind, and they're threatening to shut it off if we don't pay by Monday, so—" She paused. "So we need your help." I laughed, a short, bitter sound. "You drained my savings, and now you're asking for more?" "It wasn't just for us," she snapped. "We used some of it to help Mom and Dad, too. Dad's car broke down last month, remember?" "I wasn't told." "Because you always say no when it's not an emergency." "Lily," I said flatly, "this isn't just messed up. It's criminal." "You're being dramatic. It's family. You didn't ask me. We didn't think you'd mind. You've always helped. That's what you're for, right?" There it was. That's what you're for. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay awake going over every moment from the past 5 years. The favors, the small transfers, the way Mom always said, "You're the strong one." The way Lily rolled her eyes if I hesitated for even a second. They never saw me as a sister, a daughter, a person. Just a resource. 3 days later, Mom called. "We need to talk." She didn't ask how I was. She didn't ask about my job. She didn't even ask about the missing money. "We're planning a family dinner, just us. Come over tonight." My stomach dropped. What's this really about? "Grace," she said, her voice low, "you've caused a lot of tension." I caused tension? Still I went. Part of me wanted answers. The other part wanted to see if they'd even bother pretending to be sorry. They didn't. When I walked in, Lily was already there, arms crossed. Aiden sat beside her, looking bored. Mom was in the kitchen. Dad was flipping through the mail like nothing had happened. "So," Lily started as I sat down, "are we going to act like adults or what?" "Depends," I said. "You ready to confess to felony theft?" She scoffed. "God, you're so extra. It wasn't theft. It was family money. You always help." "We needed it," Aiden nodded. "You can spare it. So why the drama?" "I didn't give permission." "You didn't say no either." "Because I didn't know." "Details," Lily muttered. I turned to Mom. "And you're just okay with this?" She looked away. "We all agreed. You've always been the one who could handle it. No one even thought to ask. We trusted you." "Trusted you to do what's right," Dad chimed in. I stood up. "And what's right? Letting you steal from me while smiling to my face?" "Stop saying steal," Lily shouted. "It was for the family." "Then you won't mind when the family deals with the consequences." "What does that mean?" Aiden narrowed his eyes. I didn't answer. Not yet. "You don't get to cry now." When I stepped inside the house, everyone was already there. Mom was setting the table, clinking plates louder than necessary. Dad sat on the couch, flipping channels like this was a normal Thursday night. Lily stood by the window with her arms folded, jaw tight. Aiden lounged at the end of the table like he was about to watch a game, not face the consequence of draining someone's life savings. "Well, look who showed up," Lily said dryly. I dropped my bag near the door without a word. "Let's just get this over with," I muttered. "Good," Aiden grinned. "Maybe we can finally stop pretending you were robbed." "I was robbed." I sat down. That was the cue. Mom cleared her throat. "Grace, we know you're upset, but you have to understand. We were struggling. We didn't have any other options. Lily and Aiden, they were drowning, and, Dad added, you've always been the stable one. We knew we could count on you." "You didn't ask," I said, voice cold. "You took. That's not family. That's theft." Lily rolled her eyes. "You're being so dramatic. We didn't spend it on crap. We used it where it mattered." "No." I reached into my bag, pulled out a printed spreadsheet, and slammed it on the table. $1,472 on makeup, $900 on takeout, $2,300 to pay off your car loan, Aiden. Didn't think I'd check? Aiden leaned forward, face darkening. You went through our accounts? Oh, I did more than that. I opened my laptop. The screen lit up with a neat, color-coded breakdown. Every charge, every transfer, all traceable. I compiled every transaction. I filed a fraud report. And guess what? They got back to me. Lily's eyes widened. You didn't. I did. You called the police? She shrieked. I turned to Mom. Still think this is just family business? This is insane, Dad snapped. You want to put your own sister in jail? You put yourself there. Then came the knock. 3 hard, heavy pounds against the door. Lily went pale. Aiden stood up too fast. Mom gasped and backed away. Dad froze. Open up, a voice shouted. Financial Crimes Unit. Knock, knock, knock. Aiden turned to me, voice low. Grace, tell me you're not serious. I opened the door. 3 agents stepped in, jackets marked with bold letters. One carried a clipboard, the second a tablet. The third surveyed the room. You Grace Carver? Yes. Thank you for your cooperation. We'll take it from here. Mom covered her mouth. Lily dropped into a chair like her legs gave out. Aiden stood there, dumbstruck. One of the agents turned toward them. You're listed as parties of interest in an open case of financial fraud and identity theft. Identity theft? Mom cried. She's our daughter. The agent didn't blink. Family ties don't make illegal activity legal, ma'am. We didn't steal anything, Lily cried. We had a right. She always helped us. She always... Thinking you're entitled to someone's money doesn't make it yours, another agent said calmly. Remain seated, please. I just stood back and watched. For the first time in my life, they didn't talk over me, didn't mock me, didn't laugh. Mom turned to me, voice shaking, eyes already filling with tears. Grace, please, we didn't mean to hurt you. We were just desperate. You've always been the strong one. You're the only one we could count on. I looked her dead in the eyes. You don't get to cry now. She covered her mouth and sobbed. Lily tried to say something, but no words came. Aiden looked ready to bolt, but sat down under the agent's stare. You want to talk about what family is? I said, stepping forward. It's trust. It's respect. It's asking, not assuming, not stealing, not laughing while you bleed me dry. They said nothing. I grabbed my bag from the floor and turned to the lead agent. I'll be outside. And this time, they didn't stop me. You're free now, Grace. Don't go back. The silence in the room was deafening as I stood by the door. The lead investigator nodded at me. Ms. Carver, we'll need to ask you some questions later, but you're free to step outside if you'd prefer. I nodded, clutching my bag. As I turned to leave, Lily's voice cracked behind me. Grace, wait! You can't do this to us. I paused, hand on the doorknob. I didn't do anything to you. You did this to yourselves. We're your family, Mom cried, mascara already running down her cheeks. Family doesn't steal from family, I said quietly. Family doesn't laugh when you discover they've emptied your account. It wasn't like that, Aiden insisted, his earlier smugness replaced by panic. We were going to pay you back. With what money? I asked. The same money you've been borrowing for years without paying back? The investigator with the tablet cleared his throat. According to our records, there have been 17 unauthorized transfers from Ms. Carver's accounts over the past 2 years, totaling approximately $27,400, not including this most recent incident. Mom gasped. Dad's face went white. 27,000? Dad stammered. That can't be right. It's all documented, the agent replied, turning the tablet to show him. Each transfer, each date, each amount. I hadn't even known it was that much. I'd stopped keeping track after a while, just accepting that helping my family meant watching my savings dwindle. But seeing the number laid out so clearly made my stomach turn. "You've been tracking us?" Lily hissed, her shock turning to anger. "What kind of sister does that?" "The kind who finally realized she was being used," I answered. "I started documenting everything 6 months ago, when I noticed money missing that I couldn't account for." "We needed help!" Aiden shouted, standing up suddenly. One of the agents stepped forward and he sat back down. "Then you should have asked," I said. "But you didn't, because you knew I might say no. So you took it anyway." "Sir, please remain seated," the agent warned Aiden. "We need to go through some questions now." Dad looked up at me, his face a mixture of anger and fear. "Grace, tell them this is all a misunderstanding. Tell them you gave us permission." "I can't do that." "You would really let your own sister go to jail?" Mom's voice cracked. "What about her children? Have you thought about them?" "I've thought about them more than you have," I replied. "I've been paying for their school supplies, their clothes, their birthday parties for years, while Lily and Aiden bought designer bags and went on weekend trips." "That's not fair," Lily protested. "No, it wasn't fair," I agreed. "None of this was fair." The lead investigator turned to me. "Ms. Carver, we can handle this from here. You're welcome to wait outside." I nodded and opened the door. Behind me, I could hear Lily start to sob dramatically, the way she always did when she wanted to get her way. Mom was already pleading with the investigators, explaining how this was all just a family matter that got out of hand. As I stepped onto the porch, I heard Aiden's voice rise. "She gave us access. She knew we used that computer." The door closed behind me, muffling their voices. I sat on the porch swing, the same one I'd sat on as a child, watching the neighborhood kids play while I stayed home to help Mom with chores. Always the responsible one. Always the one who sacrificed. Through the window, I could see the investigators talking to my family. Dad was gesturing wildly. Mom was dabbing at her eyes. Lily had her head in her hands. Aiden looked like he might be sick. My phone buzzed. A text from Victoria, Aiden's sister. "Is it true? Did they really take your money?" I typed back, "Yes." 3 dots appeared, then, "I'm so sorry. I had no idea it was this bad." Another buzz. "What can I do?" I stared at the message for a long moment. Victoria had always been kind to me, always a bit removed from the family drama. She'd never asked me for money, never made me feel like an ATM with legs. "Nothing," I replied. "It's being handled." Inside, I could see one of the investigators showing Dad something on the tablet. Dad's face crumpled, and he put his head in his hands. Mom was frantically dialing someone on her phone, probably their lawyer friend who played golf with Dad on Sundays. The front door opened, and the lead investigator stepped out. "Ms. Carver, we're going to need to take formal statements from everyone. This will likely take some time." I nodded. "What happens now?" "Based on the evidence you've provided and their statements so far, we'll be pursuing charges of financial fraud, unauthorized access to financial accounts, and identity theft. They'll be given the opportunity to appear in court." "And the money?" "We'll do everything we can to recover it, but I should warn you, a lot of it may already be spent." I nodded again, numb. "You're free to go," he said. "We have your contact information if we need anything else." As I walked to my car, I heard the front door slam open. Lily's voice carried across the yard. "Grace, don't you dare leave! You can't do this to us!" I didn't turn around. I got in my car, started the engine, and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I could see Lily standing in the driveway, screaming after me, an agent gently but firmly guiding her back inside. For the first time in years, I felt something lift from my shoulders. The weight of obligation, of guilt, of being the family safety net, it was gone. I'd spent so long being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who would always be there to catch everyone else when they fell. But who caught me when I fell? No one. As I drove away from the house I'd grown up in, I realized I was finally free. Free from the constant drain, the endless requests, the guilt trips, the manipulation. Free from being seen as nothing more than a resource to be exploited. My phone kept buzzing. Text after text. Call after call. I turned it off and kept driving. I had no idea where I was going, but for once that didn't scare me. For once I was making a choice for myself, not for them. And it felt like breathing for the first time. 3 weeks passed before I turned my phone back on. When I did, it exploded with notifications, 47 missed calls, 68 text messages, and 23 voicemails. I scrolled through them, my heart pounding. From Mom, "Grace, please call us. We need to talk." From Dad, "You've gone too far. This is family business." From Lily, "How could you do this to me? My kids are asking where their aunt is." From Aiden, "You're really going to let them charge us? After everything we've done for you?" Everything they'd done for me. I laughed bitterly, alone in my apartment. The last voicemail was from Victoria. Unlike the others, her voice was calm, gentle. "Grace, it's Vic. I just wanted to check on you. I know what they did was wrong. I'm here if you need anything, really, no strings attached." I sat with my phone in my hand for a long time, then finally called her back. "Grace," she answered immediately. "Are you okay?" "I'm surviving," I said. "How bad is it?" She sighed. "Lily and Aiden have been charged. They're out on bail. Mom and Dad mortgaged the house to cover it. Everyone's freaking out, but honestly, Grace, they crossed a line. You're the only one who seems to think so." "Not true. Uncle Mike and Aunt Sarah are on your side, so is Grandma, believe it or not." I blinked in surprise. "Grandma? Really?" She said, and I quote, "Those kids have been using Grace like an ATM for years. About time someone unplugged it." I laughed for the first time in weeks. It felt strange, almost painful. "The family's split," Victoria continued. "Half of them think you betrayed the family code. The other half, well, they've seen how Lily and Aiden operate." "And Mom and Dad?" "They're standing by Lily, of course, but they're scared. The mortgage, the legal fees, it's a lot." I closed my eyes. "They're not my responsibility." "I know that," Victoria said firmly. "You don't owe them anything." After we hung up, I sat in silence, staring at the wall. Then I did something I hadn't done in years. I checked my bank account without feeling dread. The balance was still low, but at least it was mine. The next day, I met with a financial advisor. She looked over my documents, her expression growing more concerned with each page. "Ms. Carver, this pattern of withdrawals is concerning." "I know," I said. "It won't happen again." "May I ask what's changed?" "I finally realized I matter too." She nodded, understanding in her eyes. "Let's start rebuilding." We created a new budget, set up accounts at a different bank, and established security protocols that would make Fort Knox jealous. For the first time, I felt in control of my own money. That evening, as I was cooking dinner, my doorbell rang. I froze, wooden spoon in hand. I wasn't expecting anyone. Through the peephole, I saw Mom standing there, clutching her purse. I considered not answering, but something made me open the door. "Grace," she said, her voice small. "Can I come in?" I hesitated, then stepped aside. She entered cautiously, as if stepping into a stranger's home. "How did you find my new place?" I asked. "Victoria," she admitted. "She wouldn't give me your number, but she thought we should talk face to face." I made a mental note to have a word with Victoria later. Mom sat on the edge of my couch, her back straight, her hands folded in her lap, the posture she always adopted when delivering bad news. "Lily's court date is next month," she said. "Aiden's too." I nodded, but said nothing. "The lawyer says they could face jail time. Actual jail time, Grace." "That's what happens when you commit a crime." Her eyes flashed. "They're your family. Family doesn't steal from family. I repeated the words I'd said that day. They made a mistake. A mistake is taking $20 without asking. They took everything I had, they laughed about it, and they're still not sorry. They're just sorry they got caught. Mom's shoulders slumped. What do you want from us, Grace? Nothing. That's the point. I don't want anything from you, and I don't want you to want anything from me, not anymore. So that's it? You're just done with us? I considered her question. Was I done? Could I really walk away from the people who raised me, who shaped me? But then I remembered their faces when I confronted them. Not remorseful, just annoyed that I'd finally stood up for myself. I'm done being used, I said finally. I'm done being the family bank. I'm done feeling guilty for having boundaries. We never meant to hurt you, Mom whispered. But you did, and you knew you were doing it. You just didn't care. She looked down at her hands. The lawyer says if you drop the charges, they might get probation instead of jail time. And there it was. She hadn't come to apologize or make amends. She'd come to ask for something else. No, I said simply. Grace, please. No, I repeated, stronger this time. They need to face consequences. For once in their lives, they need to face consequences. Mom stood up, her expression hardening. I didn't raise you to be cruel. You raised me to be a doormat. I'm not anymore. After she left, I expected to feel guilty. Instead, I felt lighter, clearer, as if I'd finally put down a burden I'd been carrying for years. The next few months were a blur of legal proceedings, therapy sessions, and rebuilding my finances. Lily and Aiden both pled guilty to lesser charges in exchange for probation and mandatory restitution. They would have to pay me back every cent they took, plus interest. I didn't attend the sentencing. I didn't need to see their faces or hear their excuses. Victoria kept me updated, though. She'd become my bridge to the family, the only one I still trusted. They're bitter, she told me over coffee one Saturday. Lily especially. She keeps saying you ruined her life. She ruined her own life, I said. She just expected me to fix it for her, like always. Victoria nodded. Mom and Dad are struggling with the mortgage payments. They've been hinting that they might need help. I set down my cup. And I told them they should talk to a financial advisor, not their daughters. She grinned. I think I'm finally learning from you. 6 months after the confrontation, I received my first restitution payment. It wasn't much, just a few $100s, but it represented something more important than money. It represented accountability. That night I sat on my balcony watching the sunset. My phone buzzed with a text from Lily, the first direct communication since that day. The payment went through. Happy now? I didn't respond. There was nothing to say. This wasn't about happiness. It was about justice. About finally standing up for myself after years of being pushed down. Another text came through, this one from an unknown number. Grace, it's Dad. We miss you. The family isn't the same without you. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me ached for the family I'd lost. Or rather, the family I'd thought I had. But that family had never really existed. It had been a mirage, a one-sided relationship where I gave and they took. I put my phone away without responding and looked up at the darkening sky. Stars were beginning to appear, one by one. For the first time in my life, I was putting myself first. I was healing, I was rebuilding, and I was finally, truly free.